everyone, welcome to the game plan. I'm laughing because the director in my ear told me to break a leg. Do you know that in the beginning of the year I broke my ankle?
You're wearing a boot.
Don't worry. He means a different leg now.
And my fake story is that I was playing sports. I wasn't, I just fell.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, welcome to the show. Believe it or not, there's still lots of sporting action that happened over the weekend. There was rugby, lots of rugby, local and international, and there was Formula One. Guess who's back again?
Oh, my God.
Huh?
You're actually believing that?
Watch this space.
Oh,
you know, it remains such a huge space like your Mapengo.
And today we're also going to discuss the transfer market in the English Premier League. Roy, you'll be allowed to be excused at that point since Manchester United are doing zilch. But guys, we have an important conversation we need to have. 3 days last week, I spent my time at the Safari Park Hotel where the second International Sports Conference was happening. It was being hosted by the Kenya Academy of Sports. Now, as I was posting throughout the week, I kept being asked by sports people and fans, what is the Academy of Sports? So I decided, let me invite the CEO of the Kenya Academy of Sports, Dr. Doreen Odhiambo, to the show so that she can explain certain things to us, including what the conference was about. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Doreen Odhiambo. Doreen, are you there?
Thank you, Carol. I'm there.
Hi, Doreen. How are you doing this morning? Morning. I'm the only one in morning. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Last week we had a very busy week. I needed to recollect myself over the weekend. But how are you doing today, Doreen?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Now, Doreen, as I mentioned, the single most question I got on my social media last week is, who are the Kenya Academy of Sports? What's their mandate? Because we don't know much about this organization. So as CEO, just briefly tell us what the Kenya Academy of Sports, who are you people?
Okay, thank you, Cairo. Good evening, good afternoon, viewers. My name is Doreen Odhiambo, the CEO of Kenya Academy of Sports. Kenya Academy of Sports is a state corporation that was created through the Sport Act of 2013 and operationalized in 2014. The academies are mandated with identifying, nurturing, and developing sports talent, training and capacity building of sports technical personnel, and conducting sports research.
Wow.
Our offices...
Yeah, go ahead.
Our offices are at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, but outside of it, just along after the FKF offices.
Okay. When you tell us where your office is, it means we're going to come and knock on the door and ask for help.
In Kenya, be very careful about numbers and offices.
But Doreen, just in a nutshell, you've given us the technical response. In a nutshell, what are you doing for sports people? In English.
In a nutshell, we are identifying and developing sports talent, and this one we do it through. We can't do it ourselves. We have to work with the sports federations. Most of our talents are based in schools, so we also have to work with with schools or Ministry of Education to identify them and train them.
Okay. So basically, it's kind of like an intergovernmental agency approach to finding new talent and nurturing it.
Yes, it is.
So you
see, like we can't work. Sorry?
Do you incubate the talent in a way?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
What
Doreen,
we do,
tell us about the conference that was held last week. What was the purpose?
Okay, the conference that we held last week was to bring together key stakeholders in sports. This includes the county government officials, sports professionals, academicians, and the corporate sector to share experiences, synergies, and leverage on sports talent development for sustainable elite performance.
Now, just break that down for us, because, I mean, I was there and you had various speakers both from abroad and locally. But what are some of the things we are not doing right? Because a lot of our sport, apart from athletics, we struggle in so many of our sports from breaking into, like in football, we seem to be hitting a ceiling in a lot of our sports. being unable to break into what is expected on an international scene. What are we not doing right? And what was a learning from the conference?
Okay, in sports talent development, we have to involve, it's like a holistic approach where we look at the social affairs of the athletes, their physical, mental, emotional, and all that, and also financial. Like, for example, when you're training an athlete, we should not only concentrate on the physical, giving them the skills of sports. So we also need to give them life skills so that when, you heard in the conference, the lifespan of an athlete is very short. It's very few who manage to go beyond 10 years. So these athletes need also to have dual training, where they have to have academic and also the sports training, so that when their life, when their time is in sports ends, they have somewhere to turn to. Okay. We want to discourage this thing of relying, like, for example, when somebody's time in sports ends, now the person starts coming when they don't have other skills like coaching or crafts or any other. They come back now starting to beg, saying that, see, I was a national team player, I need to be done this and this. And as we also train them, we also have to look at the issues of welfare, where we need to come up with a pension fund or also insurance, so that their athletes, when they are injured, they can be taken care of. And also when they retire, they have some savings where they can they can start some business or some business to sustain them during their retirement period.
Okay, so I'd just like to ask, so are we interested in the athlete while they're in sport, or are we interested in taking care of the athlete after sport? I'm just saying, where is your priority? Is it in concentrating on their state, mental state, physical state, while in the sport or after?
Yeah, we have to look at it during their sporting career and after.
Oh, okay.
I think
yes.
just to emphasize that, because I was at the conference, so I know a lot about it.
Oh, conference woman.
Roy, you need
Head
to
of
plan.
conferences.
No. You need to plan now for tomorrow.
Right.
You can't wait until now is finished to plan for tomorrow. But if I'm not wrong, the Academy of Sports is actually starting from when you're a school child. So it's before your professional, during your professional career, and after your professional career. I think one thing that you were very key on, and I think we had almost a whole day discussing mental health and sport. Yeah. Just expound on that, please, Doreen.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Yeah, we're looking at the mental health of an athlete. Like when an athlete comes to train, athlete is coming from. You also have to know where the athlete is coming from. You also have to know, does the athlete go to school? What are the problems affecting him? If he has any other issues, because you see, like when the athlete is not mentally stable, this athlete will not perform well in sports. Like an athlete can be suffering silently and you don't know, and this one can also interfere with the performance of an athlete or the team. So you need to know all these. And the other issue is, like, for example, also there's the nutritional issues of athletes, mental. You also have to know the relationship of where the person is coming from. Maybe there's an athlete who's maybe already has a family and is training. Does the athlete have work to sustain family? If the athlete does not have an occupational where he can sustain the family, this one will affect the athlete in what is called in the training or in the sports development.
Doreen,
so all these things you need to.
If you can just, sorry for interrupting you, if you can just explain how you will make this, as in how you will make this happen, how we move from talking to implementing, because it's one thing to discuss these issues, but it's another thing to have the different federations and the schools actually implementing some of this.
Yeah, how do I get engaged? How do I get involved?
Some of these things we discussed.
Okay, like when we have to sensitize the sports federations on the mental health of the athlete, and also as we drawing up the curriculum of their trainings, we also have to include the life skills. So when you see, like, as you develop the athlete, you also have to involve the coach. You cannot develop the athlete and you're forgetting about coach development. So the coach and their other supporting staff, because also have to be sensitized on. You also have to check on the mental issues or mental status of the coach and the other supporting personnel. So the mental issue is for all, the mental health is for all supporting staff of the athlete. So they should, or like, for example, we want to go on training most of the sports technical personnel that will be working with athletes. Right now, we are working with the sports federations, and we are going to encourage them also in the mental health issues. We've partnered with the Kick and Alive and Kicking NGO that is going to help us to sensitize the sports federations and the PE teachers across the country on mental issues of athletes.
Okay. Yeah, you talked about identifying talent as one of your core, duties, and I was just wondering to myself. So, if I have this child who the federation is having issues, like what happens, say, in swimming, and I think that this or a bunch of children, can I approach the academy directly and say there are these kids who I think are very gifted, and then how do I, move it to the next step?
Okay, what we normally do in like scouting, we organize for tournaments. Like if it's swimming, we approach the school and the federation. So we do a tournament, and from there we have scouts also, and from there we are able to identify talented athletes whom will come and engage, put somewhere also, and train them and put them on competition.
Okay.
Doreen, just so you know, Kenny's daughter is a really good swimmer. So he's asking a very personal question.
It is personal, by the way.
Now, I'd like to go back to the issue which I think is very sensitive and ignored in sports around Africa. Us guys, when we think that people have mental issues, we think they deserve to be in a special category. Yeah. But honestly, in terms of identifying and seeing someone actually going through a lot of mental issues and challenges, where do you start as individuals or as a school? How do we get through to the organization, as Kenya said?
So that they
now,
can
when
help.
it comes to not developing the talent, but have a mental problem or mental issues developing around our area or sport, what do we do?
Okay, like for example, let's say an example of an academy, when we're involving when we are having some children, we try to be close to them. Close to them so that they can be able to confide to you and also look at them. In that also, like the Kenya Academy we have employed two mental health specialists. So who work with us when we have those children, and they're fully in our payroll. So these are the people who, like, when we have those tournaments or we have training, residential training, they stay with the athletes, look at them, and they also engage the technical personnel, the coaches, or the matrons, to find out about the children, where they come from and all that, the day-to-day activities and all that. Engaging the athletes also. And also what we do is we also try to, the mental health specialists also try to sensitize them on the issues of mental health. Tell them what to be aware of and all that. If they feel something is wrong, they come and talk to them about it. But you can, they can also look at the behavior of the kids, the ones who don't want to stay with the others. Then they start looking at it like something is not okay.
Okay. Doreen, there's one other thing that I know was discussed, because the theme was investing in sports talent development for elite performance. And there were some presentations around how to make even our athletes who are excelling on the world stage, how to make them more elite as an athlete in terms of bringing in technology. But one of the sticking out points was the fact that this technology will cost money. So how do we bridge that gap between wanting elite performance from our athletes, but they basically cannot afford it? Okay,
what we can do at the moment is we right at this time, we're trying to partner with some stakeholders, from out of the country. Like, for example, right now we are trying to work with the Stellenbosch Academy of Sports in South Africa. We're looking at working with the Olympic Lyon on the same, and also the University of London on the same, training us. They can also train us virtually. Like now, what is happening, they want to train the athletes virtually. So that is where we'll have to go to. And for example, and when you need to do for the elite performance, like once we get our athletes, the elite ones, we send them out of the country to Stellenbosch that we are now looking at working with. The rugby people have been going there, and other like INSEP in France. Like right now, we are working on an MOU where the Kenyan athletes will be going there before the 2024 Olympics. So that is the only way we can do. If we don't have their facilities here in the country, the best way out is to partner with these people and take our athletes to train there, and also bring the coaches from those places to come and train our athletes here.
All right, Doreen, I want to thank you for speaking to us, but I need to let people know before you go that you yourself were actually a professional hockey player. You did play club hockey in Kenya. Yeah, so people need to know that you've actually experienced these. You're not just sitting behind a desk with a nice coat. You've actually experienced what sports people in Kenya go through. But Dr. Doreen Odhiambo, CEO of Kenya Academy of Sports, thank you so much for speaking to us today.
Okay, thank you.
And using very nice long words for Kenny Githinji, at least you have a bit of English.
And people can actually follow them on their social media handles, Kenya Academy of Sports, or on the website to find out more about the Academy. But thank you so much, Doreen, for speaking to us. And I wish you the best.
Thank you too. Bye.
You know, it's so amazing when you find out something new every day. I didn't know they exist, to be honest.
A lot of people didn't. And I told them, we need to do better, because people need to know how they can reach out to the Kenya Academy of Sports.
Exactly.
So that we can help our sportsmen and women to go to the next elite level. But we're going to take a break, guys. When we come back, we're going to look at the Driftwood Sevens that happened in Mombasa without us being there. Shame on you. There's Formula One, there's the World Rally this weekend, and of course transfers that are happening. Don't go anywhere.